Hello everyone and welcome to the latest in our short video tutorials on using DuraCloud Preserve. In this video, we will be discussing creating new buckets in your DuraCloud Preserve account. You can think of AWS buckets as the top-level structure for your content. So you may need a bucket for university archives and a separate one for special collections, for example. Or you may choose to have buckets by format, photographs, textual materials, audiovisual materials, etc. Or by collection or collecting area. How you wish to organize your content is up to you. Your AWS S3 account can hold thousands of buckets. Buckets are also where you can control who has upload access if you need to limit access to certain buckets. Buckets must be created by the Lyrasis hosting team. This is an automated process, so as soon as you request new buckets, they are created within minutes. You don't have to have Lyrasis hosting involvement for creating file structures within buckets. Once the buckets are in place, you can create as nested a folded structure or a set of folder structures as you need. You can request up to 5 buckets at one time. You need to make the request via a text file. You can use whatever text editor you choose, whether that's Notepad, TextEdit, Notepad++, or any other text editor you prefer. You will save this text file to the request bucket within your DuraCloud Preserve stack. Stack is another term for your institutional account. Note that if you haven't yet requested buckets, you will likely need to create a folder for buckets within the request bucket. The file name you use for your text file doesn't matter. The location for where you upload it tells the system there's a new request ready. Unlike the file name for the text file you use to request new buckets, naming the buckets themselves is very important and is often the cause of errors. No special characters are allowed, including underscores, only alphanumeric characters and hyphens. Bucket names cannot start or end with hyphens because the hyphen is part of the general naming structure used by AWS S3. There are also a few reserved bucket names already used by the system, including the DuraCloud and DCP prefixes, as well as logs, managed, REPL, that means replication, and request, all of which you will see as part of your DuraCloud Preserve account. We also urge you to keep your bucket names short. The total character allowance for bucket names is 63 characters, and all buckets automatically include the full DCP-stack name as part of your bucket name. So, for example, a bucket requested for the Lyrasis hosting test stack might be special collections. The full name for that bucket will be DCP-test-special-collections. Naming your buckets is an important first step in using DuraCloud Preserve. And again, this can be an area for user error. Bucket creation is really fast. If you don't see your new buckets and their replicated buckets within a few minutes of uploading your request, navigate to the Managed Feedback folder within your account and see if there's a file there. The text file will give you any error messages you may have received. You may see multiple text files there if you fail to request new buckets more than once. Just look for the last modified date for the most recent attempt to see that error message. A note about content you wish to make public. Rather than creating new public buckets following the process outlined in this video, we strongly recommend that you use the public bucket we created for you when you started hosting with Lyrasis. If you didn't request a public bucket when you get started, you can request from the hosting team at any time. You can still set up your folder structure within that bucket however you need to, but putting all public content in this Lyrasis-generated bucket means these files will be provided through CloudFront rather than directly from AWS. This is best practice according to AWS, and it means files will be easier and faster to download, as well as giving you friendlier URLs to share with other systems and directly with your users. We will now demonstrate creating and uploading a text file for bucket generation. I'm just going to show the upload part via our web-hosted browser option, but the process will be very similar if you are using CyberDuck or another desktop client to interact with your AWS S3 account. I've created a request for a new bucket in this text file. You can see I accidentally used underscores instead of hyphens, but we'll leave that alone for now so you can see what kind of feedback we get. Again, the file name doesn't matter for this text file. I can call it whatever I like. Now I am logged in to my web-based access to DuraCloud Preserve for our test account. I'm navigating to the request bucket. I already have a buckets folder here inside this bucket, but if I didn't, I would first need to create a new folder and name it exactly that, buckets with the S. Because it's already here, I can navigate into the folder and upload my bucket request file. After clicking Save and navigating back to the home page for my entire test account, if it's been a few minutes since I hit that Save button, I might hit Refresh. If I still don't see any new buckets appearing, and again, it's been a few minutes, I can go to the Managed bucket and then into the Feedback folder. If there's a buckets folder here, that probably means there was something wrong with naming one or more buckets in my text file. Navigate into the folder. Again, I might have multiple files in this folder. I can just look for the file for my most recent bucket upload request. I can either click on the file name and save the text file somewhere, or I can just click on the little eye icon and review the text file directly in my browser. This file should give me an error message that helps me fix my naming, so I can successfully create new buckets in my DuraCloud Preserve account. Now you can see I'm trying again, and my naming convention for my new bucket request should work. No underscores or other special characters, just alphanumeric characters and hyphens. When I go through the upload process this time, after waiting just a couple minutes, you can see from the second screenshot here that my new bucket was successfully created. Also on this slide is a screenshot from CyberDuck, where I can see all of the replication buckets listed in addition to my buckets that I have created myself. And this includes the bucket that I have just created. If you're using the browser-based version, you won't see these replication buckets other than in reports, but in any desktop client or via the AWS command line, you will see the replication buckets listed. You won't be able to do anything with the content, just know that it's there. As always, if you have questions about using your Lyrasis-hosted DuraCloud Preserve AWS account, please reach out to us at either dcp@lyrasis.org or support@lyrasis.zendesk.com. Thank you.